We're being recorded, y'all. 59. We're about sharp anyway. Pretty good
It's coming out soon. I got baited, have an extra baited key if he wants to get one. So you can get a
Alright, everybody please stand. Bishop Hogan, would you lead us in a prayer?
Gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for once again being able to be active in this great community. Bless every citizen in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Here.
Bolden.
Here.
Blevins.
Here.
Sansing.
Here.
Ray.
Here.
Mashburn.
Here.
Trailer.
Here.
Twitty. Smith. Raines. Mr. Mayor,
I'm here. See a quorum.
3 absent, sir.
Thank you. Oh, we have a star amongst us.
Yes.
So who's this guy in the middle of this picture? Guess who went to Family Feud's going to be famous? So, congratulations on your trip. Did you have a good time?
We did, and it'll be showing in fall.
Okay, and you're going to let us know.
I'll let you know.
So we turn on the DVR and laugh.
There you go.
YouTube famous.
Well, thank you.
I think we will be.
All right. Thank you, Emily, for doing that.
Appreciate it.
That's a little surprise we had, Susan.
Okay.
All right, so you have the presentation of the minutes of the April 21st meeting, and I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the April 7th meeting. Got a motion, second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Do I hear anything about the consent agenda?
Move the consent agenda in its entirety.
Second.
Got a motion, second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Now we have the second reading of ordinance 1693.
So moved that we put order 1693 on the second reading.
Second.
Got a motion, second. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Ordinance number 1693, an ordinance reclassifying property in the city of Jacksonville, Arkansas, amending ordinance numbers 213 and 238 in the land use map of the city of Jacksonville, Arkansas, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Thank you. Director Oakley, would you come explain this? I think everyone here knows about it except for Councilmember Mashburn, who wasn't here. And just tell her it's the end of Vaughn Street and
Oh, no, I know.
Okay.
I read up on it.
Out there on the south end of town.
okay.
At a
Does
dead end
anybody
road.
need any more explanation on it? They're putting it, a house on a foundation. Councilmember Trailer.
I still think that needs to be R5, not R6.
I never got no further clarification from the
You're waiting on specs.
applicant. I'm sorry.
We were still waiting on specs, right, for the house.
Yes, I never got-
They told us in here that it was gonna be on a foundation, right?
Said they was gonna pour a foundation.
And that's
Set it up.
R5.
Could be. I'd have to see more definition. Without, just cause it's on, foundation don't necessarily mean it's modular.
Well, a
That's what-
modular home's R5, a manufactured home's R6. And
That's
they
right.
said it's gonna be a modular home.
I need more definition. I need more,
Without that
Specification.
definition, and we say we'll do it R6, it could be a trailer.
that's true.
That's true.
That is a true statement. Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? Or you wanting to make a motion? Want to send it back to the planning commission or what?
Can we not amend the ordinance to an R5?
I'm hot.
I tried to turn it down, but nothing
Can
happened.
we,
I know, I don't know.
can
how
it
to
be
work it
amended
either.
to an R5 with the rest?
Somebody
We can, but I would like to make sure, planning commission approved as an R6. I'd like to make sure that Jimmy said that the specs are correct.
Once they take the.
So we need to go back to the planning commission?
Yes, if it's,
She explained it as
Mike,
being a modular home, is what she explained it, but again, I haven't seen those specifications. Without seeing them, I cannot say definitely what it is. I can take the owner's request for what it is, and that's what they explained to us that night, last council meeting.
it's 2,100 some feet, so once they pull it in there, it'll be one piece.
It's done.
They take the tires off, they take the wheels and everything, right there, so it's no way to move it, but they're putting a skirt around it, which just makes it, permanent is what it is. And out there where it's at, in the back of that area, it's kind of a mixed area anyway, on 3 acres. Even the neighbors, it fits in perfect in that particular area out there.
Would it still be limited to one home at an R6?
Yes, it would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even if it's a double wide that's put in there on a slab and a skirt, it'd still be limited to one.
Yes. 'Cause it's on one lot, the way they got it set up, right at 3 acres. Backs up all the way up into the end there.
Okay, Councilmember Trailer.
The only problem I had is it was gonna be on a foundation, and to me, that's an R5. If it's not gonna be on a foundation and they're wanting R6, the planning commission said R6, I'm fine with that. It's just not what we were told it was gonna be built there.
If I verify that, I guess we need to have it written accordingly. I can verify.
Do we want to pass it on second and not pass it on the third, Mike? Would that be your suggestion, so we get clarification on what it's going to be?
That's fine with me.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think I can keep it from passing as an R6, but I just don't know.
We only got, we couldn't suspend the rules without you.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
This to my fellow council member. When they voted on this, dealing with this, they knew it was gonna be a mobile home? A double wide, a modular home?
Yes, double wide modular mobile home.
So were they told that it had to be definitely on a slab? Just
I
asking.
don't recall that discussion.
So if they were not told that it definitely has to be on a slab, and we're recommending R6, I think we should pass it at what it is, because you could easily put a financial burden on the family if now they have to have a slab, unless they said they were gonna put it on a slab.
They did say they were putting it on a slab.
So they voiced that they were gonna put it on a
They're
slab.
pouring
They did.
concrete, putting on a slab, the wheels come off as soon as it's there, there's no wheels, no way to move it, and there's no tongue, and it's tied down, and then they had voiced they were gonna put the skirt around it, because we did ask them that.
Yes, sir.
Permanently attached to a foundation.
Yes.
They're gonna be permanently attached to a foundation, but if they pull it in on wheels,
Still could
then
be
then it's an R6, even if they take the wheels off. And it's different from bringing a truck in and modular homes where they lift
Right.
out sections and rooms and walls and put together. That's a modular home. If you pull it in on wheels,
Now,
it's a manufactured home.
excuse me, is this,
Modular homes are also
Are
built
you
on
reading that,
wheels. It's still part of the manufactured distribution line, but there are modular homes built on wheels.
yeah, they are.
And all I know is once you put it on a foundation, it changes from personal property to real property.
Exactly.
That's all I know. And I think that's their
You making a
intention.
motion?
2 pieces. Yeah. 2 pieces of how they.
I make a motion, we approve it as it is.
As a 6?
Well,
Need a second?
that's what's on the floor. Oh, that's what's on the floor.
Just
So.
for a discussion.
All right, we're discussing, so, and,
I'll withdraw my motion then, since it's already on the floor.
okay, it's already on the
Call for
floor.
a vote.
All for the vote?
Is there a second
Okay.
to the motion?
We have a motion, okay. We do have a motion, right?
Well, I need a second to the motion.
Okay, need a second to the motion to approve on second reading, place on third and final reading. Do I have a second? I got a second. All right, we got a second. All right. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing. Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn. Trailer.
Hey,
Do we have 7 to suspend the rules?
you don't have to, that passed it though,
That
right?
passes it, but
That
then
passes.
suspend the rules.
Emergency clause?
That
Okay.
passes it without suspending the rules.
And so it'll be back next month.
Right.
Okay.
So move the emergency clause?
No,
Not yet. We hadn't approved and adopted yet, so now
Oh, yeah.
we got to approve the third reading next time.
I don't have a problem with R6, I just don't want to be told one thing and
All
then
right.
something else.
Right. Yeah, and let's just get clarification. Okay? Okay, so that finishes our official business. Councilmember Blevins, you have a discussion about pit bulls.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. As you know, I brought up an ordinance about this time last year about using the same ordinance that these other cities have used to allow pit bulls into the city. It's a very strict rule where you got to have insurance. The dog has to be spayed unless it's a show dog. You know, there was a lot of deals to it. It didn't go through. Since then, I had somebody else come up and mention it to me, and I reached out to the director of Animal Control now, and she had also relayed something that I had heard. As most of you may not know, the animal shelter is like at critical mass, and it's been at critical mass like every single month. And the reason for that is because almost like 80% of the animals that are in there are pits. And they can't get rid of them unless another shelter that is able to have pits takes them. They can't adopt them out. So it's like basically they're having to spend hours, like man hours, like taking care of the animals. We're spending money on food, taking care of them to eventually, I don't know what has to happen when they end up getting rid of them to free up space. So due to that, I feel that if we were to basically reintroduce this extremely strict ordinance that Cabot and everybody has that does allow pit bulls in the city for specific people to register them and everything, that would free up all the animals that get grabbed on a regular basis and taken into the, like, nobody wants to come pick them up from the animal shelter because, number one, they're going to get fined. Number two, they're not really even able to take them back with you. All because the dog is a pit, like it gets taken to the shelter, whether it's an aggressive dog or a baby or, you know, any of those things. And I think that we should definitely reconsider this just on the fact that we are continuing to be completely full because of this. And it could have been anything. It could have been any other animal that was filling up. If it was banned, that was filling up the deal. It just so happens that it's pit bulls. And that's kind of what my discussion is about, us doing this to kind of relieve some pressure to animal control, also make it so they don't have to run on hundreds of calls all the time over people calling in pit bulls, and maybe it might even bring in some revenue to the city to have them register it. And I think the director is here as well, if y'all have any questions.
I have a comment. The pit bulls that they're collecting now, the people know that it's illegal to have them in the city, and they're
Gary,
not.
I need you on your mic, please.
My mic's got a green light on it.
Oh, okay.
All right, you just need to be closer.
The pit bulls that are being picked up right now, people know they're illegal in the city. They're illegal in the city. They bring them in here anyway. What is to make anyone think that with much stricter rules that the people that are currently bringing in pit bulls illegally now would even follow the stricter rules? That's my comment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead.
The people who have pit bulls, they oftentimes come to court, and they either get rid of their pit bull or they tell me they're moving. It'd be a lot easier if there was some recourse, if they can show proof of registration, that they've been microchipped, all of the requirements that Brian was talking about. That's easier for me as city attorney to kind of handle those in court. But they are addressing those issues, and the people who are coming in court do want to do the right thing. So they're either adopting these pit bulls out or something else. I mean, that doesn't solve the issue of people who haven't appeared in court, but I do think they would be willing to go through the extra steps. If that answers your question.
Could I say something?
Any other council member wish to speak? Okay, thank you. Councilmember Bolton.
Personally, I'd like to hear from the director since it was her idea to present this.
It was not her idea to present this.
Did we finish
I
that?
didn't say that was her idea.
Oh,
I did not say that. No, I did not, no, sir.
He shot me down with emergency calls.
Yeah, it wasn't my idea.
all right, my bad.
No, you're fine, you're fine. It's just, since I'm the one that has to corral them all, so. But like Councilmember Blevins says, I've got
the shelter is beyond capacity, okay? People find, quote, stray dogs, which a lot of the times, we're pretty sure with the way the dogs act when they leave, whatever, it's their dogs. But they bring them in and they're like, it's a stray, we found it, da-da-da. I've got dogs in wire crates right now to keep from having to euthanize to make room, because 75 to 80% of the dogs I have in my shelter are pit bulls. Hmm? So when Councilmember Blevins called me last week and wanted to put this discussion on, and I didn't get a chance to go through and do the proper reporting and everything else. I just went and did it quick because it's been so crazy busy. But I pulled some numbers from this year and from last year. Because I know a lot of people are worried, you know, all pit bulls do is bite and mangle and tear up and everything. So, and my stance on that is, it's no different. If you're a parent and you raise a bad kid, it's gonna be a bad adult. If you have a pit bull or any other dog and you raise it to be mean, vicious, whatever, that's what it's gonna be when it grows up. So, on the bite cases that we have, just for this year alone, 5 out of 15 bite cases were pits. Okay? I also have a terrier bite case, a Rottweiler Lab, a Great Dane, a Collie. I've got 2 Heeler bite cases, a Schnauzer, a Terrier, and a Boxer. 5 out of 15 was pits.
Any of these 15 serious bites with loss of limb or
No.
disfigurement?
No, it's
None of the 15 were.
It's anywhere from a little puncture to maybe a couple of punctures. I mean, it's nothing massive that you got to have surgery and tearing off limbs or anything like that. Last year, 8 out of 20 bite cases were pits or pit mixes. I've got 3 Shepherd mix bites. I've got a Great Dane, I got a Chow, I got another Heeler, I had 2 Lab mixes, I had a Collie, and a Dojo Argentina. So less than half of those last year were pits.
And
A lot of the pits that I have in my shelter right now, you can walk up to any one of them, put a leash around their neck, and walk them out in the dog park, and they're fine. Christine Henderson, Jafota president, she's been coming up there for the last 2 weeks, taking every one of our dogs out to take pictures, play with them in the dog park. She's 120 pounds soaking wet. And she's been doing this for years, and ain't none of them showed any kind of aggression to her. Ain't none of them showed any kind of aggression to any of us at the shelter or anybody else that comes walking through the shelter. My main concern, just like when I accepted this position, my main job is to take care of the health and well-being of the animals and find them a good home. I can't do that with as many pits that I have because you cannot have them in the city limits. Everyone that we find that has a pit bull right now and we tell them that they have to move them, the majority of them move them out of the city limits because we go back and do rechecks on them. If we get it again the second time, then we seize it and they don't get it back. And that would be the
I
same
assume we're
process.
putting pictures of the dogs out for
Sir?
adoption, the Friends of the Shelter and the
Yes,
shelter itself?
Christine
or-
has been up there for the last 2 weeks. She gets off work, comes up there, and she has taken pictures
Okay.
of all of the dogs that we have and all of the cats that we have.
Okay, because I've had a couple of people comment to me that they weren't seeing the dogs.
Not on the shelter page.
You've got to go to the support page.
Okay,
Some of them will be on the shelter page because I'll post what I can on the shelter page and then share it to the support page.
okay,
But the majority of them is going to be on either or both of them.
okay.
Chief Hibbs, you got any idea, anything to add to this?
Just a little. I would kind of the opposite of what she's saying, though. The most common breed to have a bite is the pit or pit mix. That is the most common breed. Because if they had 5, then the rest of those dogs spread out didn't equal up to 5. And so we have, not only does she have full-blooded, but she has a few of those. Most time, I think it's a pit mix.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have a lot of the mixes, but they consider it the same as the pit bull. I was gonna add something else there. I lost my train of thought, but, the most common bite that they have is from the pit. And to me, it don't matter how they're raised. Once they bite something or they get that, once they taste blood, that's how they're gonna act. And other animals in the neighborhood, they fight with them, they attack other dogs. I see it all the time. Not here, but, other places, pictures, internet, stuff like that. Most of the time, it's the pits that are attacking other dogs. They'll attack chickens. Once they attack chickens, that's all they want to do. I hate to bring that up, but once they taste blood, they attack other animals.
I had a dog before
And
I had
that's,
a chicken.
yeah. They will attack other stuff. I've seen them, and they're vicious. Once they get their jaws locked onto something, you can't get them off. They'll lock onto other dogs, other people. If we've had 5 bites, and they were probably more serious than the other ones, I would think. The pit, would you think they're more serious than the other bites you had?
Some of them might be, but I know the healer mix that we had not too long ago messed up someone's calf pretty good, but I mean, it didn't tear a
A
limb
German
off or
Shepherd,
anything.
a big dog's gonna bite harder and tear more, but.
Yeah.
When they're told that they're banned here and they can't have them, a lot of times they will act like they're taking them out of town. They do their follow-ups. I think they'd be more apt to register them than have to get rid of them, because you know how people are with pets. They don't want to get rid of them. And Stephanie's right. If you go to court and she has those things to say, you gotta do this, I think they probably will, rather than have to get rid of the dog.
And would they have the correct insurance? I guess they have to have everything if they.
I really don't know on that if they would or not. I don't.
Right.
I
There's
think
specific
it's the same
insurance.
with chickens. When you say chickens are illegal, but then you say they're legal, but you have 100 feet, 50 feet, whatever is decided, all people hear is chickens are legal. If you say pit bulls are banned in the city, but once you do that, you put a bunch of restrictions on it, all they hear is pit bulls are illegal. They'll pay attention to all the rules and all the other stuff that goes along with it. That's my experience with dealing with the law.
May I?
Yes.
Would you give me the numbers, the bite numbers quick again for last year and the year before?
Sure. So last year, we had 20 bite cases. 8 of those were either pit or pig mixes. So you want the other breeds of that, or?
No, just,
Okay. So yeah, last year, 8 out of 20 were pit or pig mixes. This year is, so far is 5 out of 15 were
so
pit mixes.
one year we're saying, this is a dog that's not even supposed to be in the city limits. And one year they're 40% of the bites, and another year they're 33% of the bites. And they're not even supposed to be in the city, so we presume that there's probably not as many as other breeds. To me, that's biting. That's if a dog that's not even supposed to be here is responsible for that high a percentage of bites, then we know there's a lower number of that dog in the city, then the percentage of bites per dog is much higher. To me,
Well,
hang on a
there's-
second. And also, pit bulls they bite different than other dogs. They genetically bite. When they bite, they clamp and they hang on. They hang on and they shake their head, because that's what they've been bred to do for thousands of years. They're not like a yapper that goes, and once they get you, they got you. That's why they say all responsible pit bull owners must have a jawbreaker tool to open their jaws up because of the danger. I actually know a young man in this town that when he was a child, a neighbor's pit bull got a hold of him, and it did permanent damage. Now, but I'm not going to say his name. But so I think they're not good.
I can attest to the pit bull bites, because last October I was bit by a pit mix from the shelter. She wasn't vicious. She wasn't violent. I was taking her to get her rabies shots, and she was just not familiar with a leash. And when I put a leash on her, she freaked out. and pulled the leash out of my hand. When I reached down to get the leash is when she got me. I still have full function of my hand. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but any other dog that will be able to bite, I was bit when I was a kid by probably a shepherd mix. Bit me on the back of the shoulder. My shoulder bone popped out, everything else. I understand the traumatization of dog bites. Trust me, I do. But, and anybody is more than welcome to come to the shelter at any day, any point in time, and visit with the pits that we have down there.
Mayor?
I'm just one more comment.
Councilmember Levens, I'd already called on it.
So, well,
Yeah, I understand. Go ahead.
I just want to say that I do understand that there are always stories about people that get vicious deals, but I mean, there's also stories about how pits are comfort animals to some people and help, you know, bring them back to, you know, even people with PTSD, help them out with bringing them back to be able to be around other people. Also, with the whole idea that there's more bites, you know, as a large percentage, you said, well, we don't even know how many pit bulls there are, so you can't really say that there's a less number of pit bulls than there are these other animals. I mean, just plain and simple. You know why? Because there's no registration process. There's no setup. And all because everybody else is doing it illegally doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to regulate it at all. Like, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Like, to just not regulate it at all because everyone else is going to do it illegally anyway. I mean,
Well, Brian,
yeah.
the regulation would be that you can't have them.
That's the regulation.
That's the regulation.
Uh,
Right
it,
now.
It is. Yes, sir.
Right now. So it's not that we're not regulating, we are.
Well, I mean, a regulation to combat the illegal activity that's going on right now. That was what I was trying to say. I just didn't speak clearly. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Bowman.
A little while back, I did extensive research on pit bulls. Because it was brought to my attention people wanted to have pit bulls. When I got through doing the extensive research, making phone calls across the United States, I decided to drop it. And the reason I said it, because according to what we had to have was a slab, had to have chips, we had to have all that, and everybody's not going to pay to do that with a pit bull. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe you think better people than I do, but most people are not going to do what you tell them to do.
But some of them will.
But let me finish. That some is not good enough. It's best to ban than have it at hand. Because even though those numbers are low, if we open it up, the numbers are going to be high. You also made a comment about their use for comfort. I have one of my sons who's got a boa constrictor for a pet, and it brings him comfort. He's got PTSD, been to Afghanistan and all that. But I don't go to his house because he got a boa constrictor. And I'm just being real. He can say, he's just a pet, Daddy, all he eats is rats. I don't take a chance. So all I'm saying is everybody, again, those pit bulls are going to be based on who owns them. Their whole mindset just like any other animal. So we have to realize the consensus is happening. Good example, in front of my church, one day I was out in the parking lot and I saw someone down the street walking a pit bull. And I went to him. I ain't chicken like some people. I went to him, I said, you know you're not supposed to have pit bull in the city of Jacksonville. He looked at me and said, are you serious? I said, yeah. I didn't know that. It's against the law. Just thought I'd tell you, I'm not going to report you, but you need to do something about that pit bull.
Get that response a lot.
Yeah.
His name is?
No name here. I don't do that. It's just that some people wouldn't confront a person. I don't care about confronting people. And in return, he said, well, he's real nice and friendly. I said, I understand. I'm just telling you what the law says. I don't care how nice something is. If it's against the law, you're not supposed to have it. The bottom line is we know there's pit bulls in the city of Jacksonville. I've been standing in the store and heard people say, I'm going to do what I want. I got my people. Ain't nobody better not come take them. But that's the attitude. So, and I understand what you're saying, attorney, dealing with they will jump through hoops to do that. But when you really check on it, them jumping through hoops, they'll jump through hoops just enough to justify them to have that. But that slab ain't coming. There's a lot of stuff they're not going to do. So I'm against the pit bull. I did a lot of research on it, and I'm just 100% against it. I mean.
Councilmember Levens.
I do also want to state that I have definitely heard that there should be some kind of attempts that basically the nationwide they're trying to end breed-specific legislation. And when that happens, like, I mean, all of this is going to be a moot point anyway. But I mean, there are other cities that had these, and cities that are flourishing equally, if not better than us, that have taken these, this regulation into play, and it has been working successfully for them for years. This is not just like a whim. And also, last year when I brought this up, like when I called around, like everybody seemed like I was approached by Director Cass to bring this up, which I was all for it because I'd had many constituents message me about bringing this up, bringing the pit bull. I had it up. I called Chief Hibbs, called code enforcement. I was like, "Hey, are you guys all down for this?" And it's like, "Man, if y'all talk to Haiti, like absolutely, we're down." So I showed up with the ordinance, had all my T's crossed and I's dotted, and I got here. Then all of a sudden, the tone changed. But everybody was on board with it until an incident happened that I don't want to bring up. That doesn't have anything to do with dog bites or anything like that. But the fact of the matter is that this is something that we should really look into. Like, again, maybe have a public hearing to ask the citizens they want it, because the citizens have been the ones asking for it. When I make posts online, there's tons of people that post pictures of them playing with their pits. Again, like you don't really actively hear people posting about how amazing their pit bull is. You really only hear the negative, and I think the negative amount considered to the positive that's been posted skews the percentage that makes it look like it's even worse than it really is.
Since we are discussing this, Councilmember Blevins, I would recommend that you call a town hall meeting, and those who are interested in having pit bulls come to the town hall meeting. And I'm sure a lot of my fellow council members would be there with you. I mean, we're not going to address it. We're going to let you do all the talking. But I think that would be good, and of course have you do some talking. But that way the community can come forward and let's see what they say. You have the ones that's for it. You have the ones that's against it. Because I'm really tired of our city just talking about chicken wings and hot dogs.
Mr. Mayor,
Really wish
Yes,
somebody
sir.
would bring other stuff up though to talk about.
I'd like to add two things. That I worked in the 90s and in the early 2000s when pit bull fighting was a big deal. And especially in the south end of town, on Sunnyside and stuff, we hardly ever caught them doing it because if we got close, they would break it up. But what the animals went through and the injuries they had and stuff was horrific. And it was sport. And that was part of the reason for this ban. The other part is United States statistics right from 2021 on pit bull bites are 3,397 pit bull bites in the country. And that's 295 deaths. The only thing close to that, second place, is Rottweilers, which was only 535 bites. You're talking 3,400 bites versus 500. That's a big difference. And the pit bulls, by far, are more dangerous and aggressive. They're good when they're good dogs, but when the day comes, they're bad. And I've read articles plenty of times about that. 295 deaths from pit bulls and only 8 from the next highest ranking dog, which is Rottweiler. 8 deaths. And so that's a big difference. So there is an issue there in my opinion. Have the other cities that have done these changes, has their pit bull bites gone down? That's what we're not told yet. Has it made a difference in their bites, and are they fewer? And are they having less problems, or are the problems the same? Because what I'm concerned about is what we're going to have to deal with and the problems. I am concerned, though, that most of her shelter right now is pits, and she can't adopt them in the city, so that is another problem for us. But
Thank you, Chief, for that information. Now you have ruffled my feathers. That is
Councilmember
good.
Deeds.
Thank you.
When you do a town hall,
The pit bull ordinance, what we got now is good enough on the books.
when you do a town hall meeting, though,
No.
no, but I'm just
You
saying,
do
if you
town
do
hall
one, you need to have all the facts for everybody. They need to know how much it's going to cost them, how much to maintain it, how much the
The chip,
chip's going to be, because people get
slab, the fence.
just
Slab,
yes, the whole thing, because they need to know that. Because right now we got a bigger issue. We got a bigger issue with people that's to be honest, it's not taking care of the yards. So if they won't take care of the yards, how are they going to take care of their dogs? I mean, I'm being honest. I'm not against them or for them, but we
They're
got a lot of
rebuilt in 3
issues, like you
inches
said.
and-
But they need to know the whole cost. I mean, and that's the point, like you're saying. Everything's good or bad, but the cost is it's going to cost you with insurance and everything $300-400 a year, and we want you to be able to afford that. Can you? And then that'll make the difference. Not just I'm going to do it.
Does
We
anybody-
get a lot of people that's going to do it, but the city's going to mow your yard, like I told a couple people the other day, and it's not going to be at $45. It's going to be $210. So if you need to get it mowed, but I'm telling you, we got a lot more issues than pit bulls and chickens. We got to get the city back to where it needs to be.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Our next item of business is Councilmember Blevins. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Supervisor. Wants to discuss an email accusation?
Yes, sir. So during our last city council meeting, we were given a email chain that Councilmember Raines wanted us to look at regarding the United, the United conversation with with the broadband.
Right.
And I was just concerned about some of the language in there where, like, there was just basically a statement that all the city council was on something. It seemed like a completely inappropriate comment to make, especially in a public document that could be FOIA'd. It was completely, especially after all the words that were said during the meeting about inappropriate statements, to know that one of those would be in that email, calling all of everybody else that was not on the same page as her, basically on something. It really bothered me a lot, and I wanted to bring it up and say that obviously she's not here, but it's still on the agenda. So I feel that was completely inappropriate, and I think that it needs to not happen. Like, you can talk to us in private if you think we didn't do something, or you know what I'm saying, or there's other ways to do it other than in a public document.
Let's not do it privately.
I corrected myself. Sorry.
All right, we can't do nothing private.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not very private. We get beat at. So, okay, and the next issue, I want to combine C and D because they're both to do with the same thing, and that's the citizen survey. But my first question is, I want to ask the city attorney. We got word that Councilmember Raines wants to put this out through a thing she got from the chamber, some sort of organization.
A register that she obtained.
A registry she got from the Chamber of Commerce to put it out to the citizens. And I'm asking the city attorney, should this ever be distributed to the public without council approval, without then water department approval?
Right, so to answer your second question first, I looked at the survey, and there were quite a few questions about the water department issues. I think that the Water Commission should approve those questions. From my understanding, department heads have sent her questions or worked with her on that. I think the same should be the same for the water department. They should have a say in what goes on the survey if it involves their department. And they have a Water Commission meeting once a month, so I'd be happy to present that at the next meeting.
And she could reach out to you. And then my other question was, should this ever be put out without the council approval?
If it's a city survey, I would think the council would need to approve it. If it's Rose wanting to submit the survey on her own, she can certainly do that without the endorsement of the city. But from my
I'm not
understanding,
sure.
it's going on the city website. That needs to be approved by council.
Okay. If it's put out through the chamber group, then I don't know. If an individual can pretty much do what they want, is what you're saying.
Right.
But as a group, it would have to be approved if it's using taxpayer assets.
Right.
Okay. Councilmember Blevins, you were on the discussion part of this, so
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead and.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, has all the city council members and the leadership, have you taken the survey? Did you go through the survey?
I've read the questions, yes.
All of you, so first and foremost, most surveys are supposed to be anonymous. Like, you have to register to take the survey, which is already like one of the biggest things that is bothering me about it. Second of all, you have to answer all the questions, and there is questions of like, you know, would you rate this 5 or 1 or I don't know? Well, having that I don't know and having it be a guaranteed question that you have to do skews the percentages. So we're not getting it. Also, I thought surveys were supposed to be done by a third-party company. Like the way that it is presented, it seems like when the stuff comes in, like she's going to be sitting there tallying it up, and then she's going to let us know what's going on with it. Also, some of the questions that were in there, this was supposed to be a citizen survey about the city and about about us helping out the citizens, but like there was no questions about code enforcement or Parks and Rec, which are the main two people that deal with the citizens. Also, again, there's a question about the water quality in various different descriptions, which I don't want to get into, that I feel just, again, without the water departments, I don't think that's not even anything that the city council can even fix. And like there's a question about broadband on there, like, are you happy with the broadband service? Are you happy with the gigabytes you're getting? I mean, like, we can't control any of that. That's like sending out a survey being like, hey, are you guys upset that the McRib isn't all year long at McDonald's? You know, I mean, like, really, like, it doesn't.
I don't like the McRib.
It doesn't make any sense. And I feel that I've asked all the directors, I've called almost all of them. I can't really think of one that I haven't called to ask if they contributed this, and I have yet to find one that did contribute to this. So I don't know where the questions are or what was being contributed by the directors. Again, I feel that 100% this is not a survey that we should be sending out. It was not agreed on by us. It was not created by us. And it seems like, the focus on the questions are not really the focuses of things that the city council can affect. That's my statement.
Brian, I don't say
City
this
clerk.
often, but I agree.
Would you be willing to contact Councilmember Raines? And as a person, she can do what she wants, but she cannot do it representing the city?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Oh, Councilmember Bolden. You take the you're gonna pass the survey, you're gonna flunk.
Oh, no. The whole key, I want to piggyback off what my fellow council member said. Anytime a survey is conducted by an entity the size of our city, it must be an outside contracted party that manages it. That way there's not personal opinion coming in. Because if I'm doing a survey and you put down that basically, do you like ham hocks and black eyed peas? And you say no, and I want people to have ham hocks and black eyed peas, I'm gonna say 100% of the people said they want ham hocks and black eyed peas. I'm gonna make it fit me. So I'm saying this survey is a fluke.
New Year's you got to.
We don't need that. We need to have, if we're gonna do a survey, and I'm gonna tell you this, if we're gonna do a survey, it must be an outside source. But I'm not in favor of this survey at all.
Councilmember Blevins.
One more thing that I wanted to add, like on top of this, you having to register for it and you have to answer all the questions. There are questions on there that are like, have you had good experience with the police? Have you had good experience with, have you been pulled, like basically the whole interaction with the JPD and with the fire department. Like, it's hard to get people to talk about stuff anyway, let alone say they do have a problem with the police. I mean, here's going to be a survey where they mention something and their name's attached to it. Like, yeah,
that's all we got to talk about.
Yeah.
Can we go home?
Councilmember Deeds.
I agree.
On the survey here, something, we get a report every year at the first of the year from the water department. And the people that are professionals at, and our tests have always been fabulous. So why do we need to ask somebody's opinion when you have professionals that's their job, and engineers to tell us every year? I mean, the questions need to be brought up by a third party and done right, and we need to move forward.
Okay. Anything else to come before this council? All right.
I got a comment to make.
All right. I'll de-hammer it.
All right.
Make it quick.
To make everybody know, our wastewater department just received the highest state's awards. Many of their people awarded, and Thea Hughes was inducted into their Hall of Fame with a top award. So just wanted everybody to know that.
Thank you, we need to know that.
And
Congratulations.
when she got up and accepted the award, she made sure that everyone knew that she didn't win that award. All those good people that work at the wastewater department are the ones that did it. And we ought to be really proud of them. And we have some of the best water in District 6 right here.
Yes.
So now I got that hammer.
All right.